I'm not playing a video game, I don't have to like it.
Man, what a shit.
Oh, hey, Whisper is almost at the end. I forgot he was doing this thing.
My everything hurts. I like it. My jumps are jumpier again.
We are having like the dumbest conversations right now. I like it.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I'm pushing. What the fuck? What? Blow it up again. Bang. I can't even. Whatever game. Whatever you say. Are they making a baby car right now? That's not. You know what? I need these guys dead so I can test stuff. That was fucking amazing. Good.
Oh, that ain't it. Hola. ¿Cómo está? Get my own damn setup confused. What else is new? Okay. So first things first, let's zoom in until we have one frame moving. Let's jump over to here, find the first frame. What up still? How's it going? Just about landed right where I needed to be. Why wouldn't we be good? Everything's fine. No worries. And that is where the run actually ends. I just haven't been streaming because I've been like busy. So, let's see, where is this? This was yesterday. And the RTA adjusted is 2, 33, 52, 23. Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Sometimes I'm just a pissy lad. Wait, why do I keep doing this when I know for a fact that I always start it from here? I'm a bad moderator. It says 51. No, not 50 tilde. 07. There we go. Okay. So, let's get to loadless editing. The fun part that everyone loves. Nah, Rui has put a new run in. He really needs to... The trial begins. And if he doesn't pass, we shall put him to the sword. Again. Put him to the sword again. Because it didn't take last time. Don't question my methods! Alright, Ayub, have a good one. Thanks for popping in. Yo, school is important, dude. Get your education. It's way more important than this. Unless this was God Hand, in which case, what are you doing? Kidding. But yeah, get you some sleep, take care of yourself, etc., etc. I gotta say, this is the part of editing down Gadget Racers runs that I hate the most, is the damn licenses. Apparently, this is the only game in the series that has something like this. Yo, same. No, that's a joke. Don't do that. To be fair, like, the next few streams are probably not going to be God Hand. I really do need to, like, buckle down and actually grind out Blood Rain 2 so I can get the run that I want so I can never touch it again. Hopefully. So, Rui, let me ask you something. When you're streaming console games, do you set OBS to the actual, like, 25 frames per second that, you know, PAL is? Or do you have OBS set to something else? I'm not gonna lie, when I see the title for this song, my brain immediately parses it as Spank Engine. Yeah, I would really recommend that when you're doing speed runs that you make sure to set the frame rate to something that makes sense for that speed run. But hey, to be fair, at least you're not submitting runs that are like in games that are 25 frames a second with OBS set at 60. I hate that shit. It makes the frames more accurate in these comparison VODs, so like when I'm cutting it down, he might actually lose like tiny little fragments of time on every single cut because he's not at the correct frames per second. Like in the vast scheme of things, it really won't make that much of a difference, but it can make a bit of a difference. Plus, it makes the video a lot more precise. Because, like, see, like, here, let me show you an example. You see that now loading, how the text is sort of on screen, but it's also sort of not on screen? That's because the frame rate's not correct. This frame doesn't naturally exist in the game at all. Oh, it wouldn't be as much as a whole minute. You'd probably lose at most, like, let's say there's 100 loads, you'd probably lose 2/3 of a second at most. But, like, at the same time, the video just ends up looking a lot uglier, and the cut down process is a little bit more of a pain in the ass. And see, when it comes to like cutting the loads out manually, if there's ever an issue where I have to make a judgment call, the judgment call always must be against the player. And when I explain that, like I have to emphasize that, like, let's say that we're on this loading screen, right? And let's say at this moment, for some reason, Rui's capture froze. And I'm all the way over here by the time it unfreezes. From the moment that his timer freezes to here needs to all be included. And the reason for that is because otherwise we potentially have issues where somebody would have quote-unquote technical difficulties to improve their times. You never want a system that could potentially promote technical difficulties. But yeah, right now it's just Rui doing like active runs. I'm planning on doing all races runs. I don't know when I'm gonna get to that. But like it's worth noting I'm not a young man. And you know, given that my primary speed game is God Hand, there will come a point where I am just not fast enough, where I'm just not physically able to do that run anymore. And at that point, I'll be able to focus more on stuff like this. I'm not sure how far back you are on that, but you know what I could do is I could do a segment to segment comparison for you so you can see each of the races and how they're going in comparison to Vlad and my runs. Do you know what I mean when I say a segment to segment? Because I could show you an example if you need it. It's something that any long-term Xana fan would know. But, here, let me actually go ahead and... By the way, my sinuses are freaking the fuck out. My apologies. So, let's look at one that was requested. How about we grab... Where is it at? No, for real, where the fuck did I put it? There it is, Gungrave. Okay. So this is what a segment to segment is. So we've got 4 players side by side. And the goal is to line them up perfectly. But we're going to line them up perfectly several times throughout the course of the game. And the idea is like, okay, we need to see who did what segment faster. And then you can, like, really go into how they did it faster. So see, the other 2 up top, they've completed this segment, and now the other ones are completing it, and then they all line up in the following segment. So I call this a segment-to-segment comparison. And I do these on request. So if you, like, these are my rules for the request. So if there's a game that you run that you would like comparisons of so that you can learn more about your speed game, shoot me a request. Literally the only requirement that I have is that you are a runner in the comparison. But, these are really fun to do, and I always love it when someone who is one of the runners comes back to me later and says, like, yo, I noticed these things about my game because of the comparison. Literally every time that I've done one of these, something new has been learned about the game. And I love that shit. It's super fun to put together, and it's also kind of content for my YouTube channel. But at the same time, as I said before, I'm never going to monetize my YouTube channel, and what's more is that, the truth is, no one really watches those comparisons except for the runners, which is fine, because that's the only reason I really do it. Right, because in each individual section you can look at, be like, okay, who was faster? Were they faster because they got lucky? Were they faster because they have a different route? Were they faster because they have a different method of doing this task? Or, like, you know, you can really boil down the smallest details of the method. Whereas if you're looking at just a straight race, once players start getting decently far from each other, it becomes a lot more difficult to really see, you know, oh man, this other runner is gaining a lot of time. How are they getting so much faster than me at this point? But instead, you just, like, line them up and be like, oh, that's how. Shit. Like, a long time ago, I did one for Ninja Gaiden Black under the Godfather Dictator's request, and after the fact, he told me that he had no idea that Frenchie's movement was so good. He was like, I need to work on my movement because Frenchie's movement is amazing. That was a while back though, so I don't even know if Frenchie is in the top 5 anymore. I know back then he was 2nd place. But TGD is TGD is to Ninja Gaiden Black as I am to God Hand. Like, I'm gonna be working on that until I physically cannot anymore. Too young to think about it? Why don't you just fucking rub it in, whippersnapper? Here I am turning to dust, and you're like, I'm so young, tee hee hee. It's fine, I'm just giving you shit. It's not your fault, you're a babu. But yeah, making a comparison VOD of this is actually really easy, especially if you followed the route. Typically what I do is I just line up the beginning of the licenses and let it go up to the end of it. I mean, that's when someone just, like, picks up a game that has already been figured out, uses all the shit that's been figured out, and just grinds. I think... I think, like, there's a big difference between that and someone who actually holds multiple world records or, like, multiple... even just, like, multiple really competitive times in games that have a lot of competition. And then there's people that, like, actually actively spend time figuring shit out about games. Like, I honestly... So, there was, I don't know if this guy is still involved, but... I am told that once upon a time there was a person in the Halo speedrunning community that was like 67 years old. And that he was still like actively like looking for more optimal ways to do things in legendary runs. And like, that's fucking awesome. I hope I have that kind of persistence at that age. Someone has done a task in God Hand. Their name is Crazy Boy, and they try to pretend that it's not a tool assist, and that's the problem. You know what's funny? Once upon a time, I was saying that, man, if they ever figure out how to get tool assisted tools, on a PS2 emulator, you're not gonna hear from me for months, but, like, that happened and I haven't been interested. So, I don't know what happened. But there was, like, a number of games that I was like, this would be really interesting to tool assist, and then I never did. I know exactly why that tool assist that Crazy Boy did has all of those like arbitrary restrictions too. It's because the previous 2 times that he made cheated runs, he claimed a world record on both of them, and they were both like way slower than my run is. And I made comparisons on my channel that's like, so here's why that's totally false. And it's like, they're not even close, dude. They're like minutes away. And like, I keep on telling people, like, you know, if you're doing the correct method somewhat poorly, it will still almost certainly be noteworthily faster than someone doing the wrong methods really well. So the first time I ever posted in Gadget Racers, I went and checked last night because I was curious. But the first time I ever posted was a 209 something. And the oldest VOD that I still have is the very next run that I completed, which was a 202 something. But again, our loads are very different, so without making an actual comparison of those runs, I wouldn't know how far apart they actually are. Because Rui's runs typically have about 30 minutes of loads that get cut away. Whereas mine, let's see, has a little over half of that, so like 16 minutes. But like, there's no telling without actually pulling them up and doing a comparison where that 202 would fall today. What you should and shouldn't pit in. Yeah. I did that phase at one point where I was like trying to take notes on where exactly pits should happen. You know what you should do next is pick up Blood Rain 2 so you can suffer with me. It is a cheap PS2 game in your region, so far as I know. And with all the skips and tricks, the game is more of a platformer than a hack and slash beat 'em up. By the way, this audio track right here is the only thing I know about this game. Nex Machina. I don't know anything else about it. Well, here in a few days, I'll let you know before I do it, but here in a few days, I'm going to go ahead and do a run on PAL. And, we'll see what it looks like on my end. Because yeah, it would be interesting if there were like noticeable differences on how things handle and whatnot. Because, like, it looks like it, and it could just be your shift timing, so I might be wrong, but it looks like your acceleration is different. And I remember you at one point saying that the movement in my game looked different to you. And if that's, like, maybe you're not crazy. Maybe that's totally true. Well, it looks like the placement of the menus and all that is basically the same as the US version, so the only thing I'll have to get used to doing again is actually scrolling to the exit on the customized menu. Which sucks, don't get me wrong, but I mean... that's what I used to do in the first place. So, like, when it comes to this game in YouTube... for whatever reason, pretty much any time that I put up a new PB on YouTube, for whatever reason, I get, like, a group of people, and it's usually not even the same people, that are all like, have you tried using this parts? What if you did these parts? What if you bought this instead of that? What if you, oh, you don't need that engine, that's too strong. You could use that money on this instead. Ah, shut up. Like, if although you have such good ideas, do runs. Do runs, crush my time, and prove me wrong. Oh, you mean the... So, easy and hard mode are almost the exact same RTA on the leaderboard. But normal mode is several minutes ahead. So the difference is that I did normal mode on the Xbox Series X. And the other two were done on ye old Xbox 360. So I just haven't done a new run for either of those categories. Which is kind of a funny thing that I haven't done a new hard mode run because... And this goes into a bit of Xana lore, right? So, the world record on Asura's Wrath hard mode... Yeah, I hate these break tests. The world record on that category was a run that I did specifically to show to a girl who is in the chat. And she and we were sort of an item for a while. And she became a mega twat out of nowhere, and and betrayed the shit out of us. So I kind of detest her memory in general. So you'd think that I would like be raring to go on crushing that recce so that I could get rid of the VOD that has her name in it. But I haven't yet. So on this particular brake test, I start hitting the brakes about here in the air, and then like you kind of skid off of that, and typically you land pretty much right where you need to land instead of having to turn and all that. By the way, in racing games, I don't know if this translates to real life, but I'm told it does. Braking, acceleration, and turning have, like, a holy trinity kind of thing going on. Doing any one of them takes away from the other. So, if you're turning, your brakes are applying less. Which didn't make sense to me at first until I looked into it. It turns out that it has to do with angular momentum. So basically, your brakes are stopping you in a linear direction. But as you turn, your inertia is now working against an angle that your brakes are no longer applying to. You see what I'm saying? Ramming into wall. Now see, yeah, if you can quickly do that 90-degree slam into a wall and get stopped, then that probably works. But as far as like just a full-on stop with the brakes, yeah, it works against your brakes to turn. But, see, like, my reason for not trying to use the wall, and it probably would be optimal to use the wall to stop sooner, but my reasoning for not doing that is because walls on this game are not consistent about what direction they put you in. It's fine. But yeah, I'll put a comparison, like a segment to segment together, so you can see what's going on between our runs. I'll include Vlad's run too. Even though, like, his capture is pretty ugly. But he's aware of it, so, like, even if he were to pop in, he wouldn't be like, what are you saying about my capture? He'd be like, yeah, my capture is fucking ugly. That boy needs to get that technical shit figured out. But ironically, he went from this game to Spyro when you went from Spyro to this game, so... I mean, this capture is fine. Like, it's not very clean when it comes to this, so you can see, like, all the garbage particles once the frame goes completely black. But aside from that, it actually looks fine. Like not every capture should be judged against something as clean as mine. Like, the real sad part about my capture is that my capture card is not available anymore. So, like, I really, really, really would love to get a spare because... Okay, when did I buy this fucking thing? Like, maybe 8 or 9 years ago? Like, dude, my capture card has been with me for a hot minute. And, there is that lingering fear that at some point it will just die. Okay, yeah, there was no actual freeze there. That was just the video editing program. So at some point I was like, you know what I should do? I should just buy another one so that when this one does die, I can just switch over, not a big deal. But I'd be willing to bet that when this video capture device dies, it'll probably be a resistor, and that would probably be replaceable. So once it does stop working, I'm not gonna just throw it away. I'm gonna see if I can't find someone to work on the electronics with me and see if I can't revive it. I already have a kid, and that experiment went horribly wrong. Okay, so we're done with the licenses at 1412. So, out of curiosity... Wait, no, this is the whole run. Where's the Loadless? There we go. So yeah, dude, like, this the thing is that licenses are done. And I go to races. Or no, I go to the shop. And we're officially in the shop. Okay. At 11:38. 14, 12. So we're already... There's already a lot... Honestly, I think part of it... Like, I know that your lines are not super efficient yet. But I honestly think that there's a difference in the acceleration. Wait, did you... Hold on. So, oh, you exited out right here. You shouldn't have done that. So, once you get dropped to here, you shoulder button, and you go straight to the shop from there by selecting it up here. The experiment was having a kid at all. I promise you that it wasn't a good idea. I understand. What did I do with the kid, though? I was not a particularly good father, just in, like, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you where exactly my failings are. I just know I could have done a better job. And, unfortunately, he did not turn out to be a particularly good person. Like, if any of you have, like, a family member where you're like, you know, if I wasn't related to this person, and if I wasn't essentially mandated to care about this person based on our familial relevance, I would never hang out with them. It hits different when that's your kid. But, you know, it is what it is. God, you know what? Even though it's optimal to use this front spoiler, I hate it. Look at how ugly that thing is. So ugly. Hi. See, this is the part that I start enjoying the edit on, because, like, we've got 20 races and... and some shopping, and that's it. Well, in cutting down the time from the GPs... Right, this spoiler, if anything, would be, like, the worst possible thing to have on Snow and Ice. It would be extra terrible when you go underwater. Like, I don't see how it would make your vehicle more aerodynamic in general. But, like, you've also got the fact that, like, okay, when adding a spoiler to a vehicle, you have to understand that the weight of the spoiler is a factor. So, whatever aerodynamicism it brings has to overcome the fact that the spoiler weighs something. So it needs to generate more power than it loses. I mean, I can conceive of the possibility that the shape makes more sense on a real car than on a chibi car. But on these, like, cute little chibi cars, the shape doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, you're gonna have to get Rui to explain that shit. I refuse. No, they didn't. There's no deepness to that. How dare you? Basically, it's some wiener complaining about speedrunning, but in, like, one of the most insane ways I've ever seen. Well, no, it was still Twitter back when that happened. This shitpost was a while ago. Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at your gear change right here. You actually wait until the RPM peaks before you shift up. I'm gonna start watching your shifting in general and see, because you really don't want to wait until your mile-per-hour gain starts to dip off. You wanna switch right before the dip starts to happen. No, we didn't do that. No. You know what, if they would frickin' put practice mode back on DFO, I would play that shit in a heartbeat. Because I could go back to speedrunning it. I mean, you could still speedrun it, but without practice mode, it would have to be segmented, because the way that fatigue points work, you would not be allowed to do a full run in a day. It's not possible. Yeah, it's on the lower engine and transmission combinations where the dip is a bit early. But yeah, 7.5, 8 on the RPM is usually what I aim for, except for like this early. It's different. I try to, in some cases, memorize what speed I should be at in different instances. So like, the first time going through Seaside Resort, for instance, when you're underwater, you want to be on the 3rd gear until you start going up into the tunnel. When you're going uphill underwater and you drop below 104 kilometers per hour, right at 104, you want to drop down to the 2nd gear. And then there's a couple of other places, like when when I'm in the water and snow and ice, when we have higher speed equipment and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of it is just memorizing number thing. See number, do thing. So hold on. What? What the hell? I know that I have a hotkey for this. Hold on. Oh, it's just Alt-Home. Hold on. So, I actually want to hear how far this is.
Every time I do speedrun, I feel tired.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
And I start yawning. It's not good.
Hold on. What if we jump forward? Mate. Well, this is what you submitted with. Am I gonna have to reject it because you gave me the wrong shit? Yeah. What? This is the link that... Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I may have fucked up. Oh wow, yeah, I did a bunch, because I'm a dumbass. Okay, so we're gonna have to start over. But first, it has to convert. Actually, let's rename that first. LOL, I'm a dumb... That would be why you didn't remember doing that thing, because it didn't happen. It's fine. I don't care. No big deal. Don't worry about it. This was because I was underprepared. Anyways, I'm going to put this on the BRB screen and let that go, and I will be back.
Too terrible. I did get, like, horribly screwed by the targeting earlier, but aside from that, I'm actually doing pretty good. Later, nerds! Oh, man, that was fantastic.
Yes, though. I'm curious.
I'm gonna get dead. How did you not get me dead? Get out of here. You're the least competent ever.
Wow. You can't aim for shit.
The R6 group is chatty today. What the hell was?
Yes, they
The 6
are.
group is always chatty.
I can't be bothered to read any of it at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
The 6 group has been very entertaining to watch.
More egg wyvern findings.
Among
Oh,
other
what, the
things.
only silver.
Yeah,
Oh,
that too.
God.
Wait, were there
that's
really? I was making fun.
That's
No,
a-
people still working on Egg Wyvern now. And there's also, like, an infinite meter glitch for silver that may or may not be real. That the person who has found it has made it about as suspicious as they can.
Yeah.
because they are
pretty
either
much.
rusing you or rusing us, or just incredibly stupid.
Or it could
Yeah.
be both. Or
I
it
saw
could be both.
Tony's tweet.
Yeah.
He said pretty much just it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
He was
So nobody's been able to
suspicious.
figure it out. So then that person is like, well, I don't want to share it because then people will improve it and people will forget about me and the original work. And well, yeah, but if it glitches in the thing at all, then nobody will know about you either. And if you leave it up there and somebody else will figure it out, then no one will know about you either.
Mm.
When they
Like,
revealed
he
it
was
to the
freaking out hard about not getting credit. It was absolutely hilarious.
To be honest, it triggered me. It pissed me off.
Mm.
It really did.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I had to. What the hell was
Yo,
that grate
what are you
doing?
doing with that grate?
Zan, what the?
You're having great fun? Oh god.
Oh god.
That's your own damn
I'm
fault.
sorry. I'm dating someone who does puns.
Blame it on your
I-
boyfriend.
Yeah, I know, right? Man, Flying Fox is vicious. She'll blame the puns on you and all of that shit.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about the only silver, about his whole thing. I don't know.
What,
Yeah.
But I
Dance
had to
Dance
leave,
Struck?
and then Liam picked it up and said that he was gonna say something. So I just thought, alright, I'll just leave it to him then.
I was waiting for his rant, but he didn't do
Didn't
anything.
come.
Nope.
No, and I can't be bothered to prompt him because it's just. No, I want peace and quiet.
But yeah, he actually said my life is over.
Yeah,
After-
they did say
after,
that. That,
like-
that frustrated me too.
After like the one guy he told like secretly actually
Well,
spilled the beans
you-
and explained some of it, and he was like, "Oh my god, my life is over."
You know what though? He had tons of flaws in his logic and everything
Yeah.
else. And what's funny to me is that he was constantly complaining about Ben for some reason because of the Egg Wyvern thing, but yet he was only willing to share the glitch information with Ben.
And Ben is honestly a little bit like that as well, so it
Oh,
won't
yeah.
surprise me if those two are just bruising the shit out of everybody, but
I know
they're not, and yeah.
What really annoyed me was when he said.
Sano!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's in the wall! It's in the wall!
This is the
Oh no! What are you? Oh, okay,
Yes. Perpetual great.
Can you even get it out of the wall now?
I was trying to get it further in. Look at this shit. Look, get in there. Get in there.
Oh my god, it is trying so hard.
What are you
I'm
doing to that
shimmying.
grate?
What is this?
What are you doing? This is the PG stream.
This is pretty great.
Oh my god, I got there.
South Park. And it's
Oh, you just need some
Oh, it
dance
actually
music
went
over the top of this.
Oh my god, I'm crying. Oh my god.
Don't forget to timestamp that.
Don't kill us.
What is it? 3:47.
Whew.
Shit.
I'll
Fuck.
I'll just stick it on there. There you go. It's roughly about that.
I got it, it's fine.
Right.
Whew.
Oh dear.
Oh god, there's another one.
Oh no.
Do it again!
What? He's stuck in a car. Hey, yo, bruh. Are you serious? Okay. What the fuck? Yo, thanks targeting. Oh, dude. You can't plan for that.
Self-scan complete. Bacterial infection has spread to the skin and pulmonary system. Medical report recorded to date, Bank. It is imperative you find a way to neutralize the infection.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. Joe, what the fuck? The psychic handling of the gun. That was delicious.
Ladies,
Okay,
Rubus.
yeah.
we may or may not be at a bathhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get full of rage by flashing this woman my junk.
I love this segment so much.
So, okay, so there's 4 different buttons that are labeled. You can actually get rage. A 5th, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to shut the hell up and I'm just going to do it. So, view of the valley. I take it Critical Sin Senpai is pleased.
Yes. I fucking love it. Oh, the achievement was like the cherry on top.
This is a practice run, so I was like, fuck it, man, do the fun shit.
Yep.
I got yelled at. Jiggly's on head. I think that we can do that. Hold on. Come here.
I guess it's a good thing I'm not wearing them, bro. Otherwise, this might be slightly difficult. Come here.
Yep.
You're welcome. You asked for this. Just want to point that out. How does it feel?
It feels like there's boobies on my head.
Yeah. He's happy. They're both happy.
Give the people what they want. It's not like a pillow. Like, okay, here's the thing. Pillows are not normally 80 pounds.
My boobs are not 80 pounds.
Your upper torso is... Look, okay. If it was just your boobs, no, they're not 80 pounds. But when you factor in all the other weight that was on my head just now, it's not just your boobs, okay?
Well, no, because I had to, like, lean into it. And so you were getting all over.
Yeah.
But...
No, Discord called my girlfriend fat.
Yeah, we joined a channel and it was like Big Vivian and Andromeda.
No, you joined my Pokemon Go Grapevine channel. And
I said I joined the channel and it said Big Vivian and Andromeda showed up. And it's like, you calling me fat, Discord? We can take this offline.
She thick? A little bit.
I mean...
You're not thick.
I'm not denying that I am. I just... I don't know. It's a weird descriptor.
No, it's not.
It is to me, okay? It's weird.
Your face is weird.
But so is yours.
Yeah.
Especially your bald head.
It's not bald. I mean, I don't give a fuck if it is. It's just, come on, if you're gonna describe something, be accurate.
Fine, with your buzzed head.
There you go.
Good luck for what?
Cool, he got stuck on the fire. Years old, so this is weird. You shouldn't even have a Twitch account then.
Alright. I don't know if you can see.
You need to be 12 years or older to have a
See
Twitch
if you guys can see my cat. I'll just move this. Yes, hello.
Also, I'm pretty sure that Xana has the mature warning audience on
I
his
totally don't know.
You don't?
I'll be right back. What the hell?
You really should.
Alright, I'll be right back.
You, of all people. Exactly, I know, right, Josh?
Oh my god, that was so worth it. Oh my god. I love you, Sid. Climb over, you dick. No, stop taking cover. I hate this.
Climb over your dick? What?
What? I just literally put my headset back on. I'm not even kidding, I just put it on. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Someone bring me a bucket.
FF, I love you.
I know, right? Oh god.
A challenge
How are you so good at this?
Her lewd sense was tingling.
Well, I guess you didn't need to pop up anyway, you just talk lewd.
We're not alone.
Yeah.
Right, it's like the bat signal for FF is just say something horrendous about my penis and boom, there she is.
Oh my god, that's not right.
I was just literally about to say hi, and all I heard was the word dick, and I was like, okay.
I don't even know what I said.
Something about climbing over my dick.
Alright.
It was Dr. Young's login. Never mind that. Get behind me. Now.
Oh.
Human senpai Pete. Apparently. Oh my god, the lag that I'm oh my god, the lag that I'm causing! I was gonna say nothing to menace me, but it's not like anything in this stage was particularly dangerous to me anyway. Where are you going? No, really, what in the hell were you doing? Bruh. Whoa. That is exactly what I wanted to happen right there. Oh my god. That was fucking awesome. It was a much faster car I just passed, but it was a two-door.
We should stop the friendly fire first. Then I could get these fucks
going. Okay, how many hands are over here now? Oh my god, that's a lot of hands. Oh man, I'm fucking dumb. Get over there. What the fuck? Hold on. There's no fucking way that just happened.
That is a problem.
But the gorillas in this game don't have eyes.
I don't know how it works either, but I just know it's a thing.
I'll just watch the monsoon cutscene. It's not like there's any chance in fuck. I am plus 3 minutes on TV. Fuck it. I don't care.
Whee!
I'm gonna read off Monsoon's lines now as Kermit the Frog. Means the DNA of the soul. They shape our will. They are our culture. They are everything we pass on. Ah!
I don't think that's gonna work.
They will learn to hate. They become a carrier, envy, greed, despair. All means, all passed along. How? All about full of shit. Does that mean? Wind blows, rain falls, and the strong prey upon the weak. Sam tells me you see your whooping as a tool, something that saves lives, a means of justice. Now there's a pretty meme, exquisite. It spared you the burden of the lives you've taken, absolved you of guilt when you enjoyed it.
Oh my god, dude.
What?
That was the best.
That is exactly the thing that should not be the best.
I don't care. It's the best.
Great.
Failures.
Okay. He's like halfway through the door, dude. The gun has an bullet left. Yep. Yep, that's correct. This is exactly how it goes.
Much, but he's taken Black Mask hostage.
Alright, Defiance Man, have a good one.
I don't think so. From what I can tell, he's worth more to the Joker alive. The Joker wants to use him to get to the Gotham Merchants Bank. I'm on my way there now.
Good. Okay, so I can do shit about that, but okay, so I can't make Batman stop doing this, and I can't even change like the camera angle. Oh, I can do this. That's good. What a fucking video game. This is stupid. Yo, but it fucking worked. You know, there's no reason that should have worked, right? Ah! Your timing on that comment could not have been better. You're kidding. Speaking of game design, oh shit! Oh, fuck. Officer! Officer, I need help! Officer! Officer! Help! Ah! That didn't go too well. Here we go. Let's just plonk. Oh no, I'm in the trash. What? What? Oh, God. Well, okay, that's a dead cop. I didn't do it. I have nothing to do with that. Yo, dude. Hey, that's my Betsy. Hey, did you not? Yo, dude, that's my Betsy. Stop. The lady that's trying to announce the race is stuck inside of the dumpster. Oh my god. Ah.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Not interested. That was fucking stupid. God.
I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to get up there.
More to deal with.
Dude, and my crit chance with these is absurd. Good fucking job, my dude. Oh my god. This guy. What's up, this guy? I can actually win in a DPS race. So get fucked.
That was fun.
Good job. You tried.
Just fell. Oh, something had, and I didn't see it because it was at the fire. Oh my my god, that was too good.
Shit, now Zen are dropping from the sky? That's fucking cheating!
Those are access portals. You should.
Oh, that makes so much sense for this run. I'll just smash the civilian in the face with a rocket handle. Woohoo! I hate this guy. Right through those boxes. Oh my god! Oh, bruh. Raiden, what are you on about, mate? What are you on about?
I might as well finish this 100 man and then go to sleep.
Damn, that
what
is
are you doing with
so
100 men?
slutty.
Jeez.
Hold
Oh my god. No,
and
that's
why
what they
aren't
call.
we involved?
Does Dan know about this?
Why aren't we involved? If you're gonna have 100 people, why are you not gonna do it with your friends?
You can't win this one, FF.
No, you cool. I'm watching a 100 man right now.
Whoa!
Oh, you're watching! Oh!
Hang
You're
on,
watching.
hang on.
No, that's what you call it in
You can't win this one, FF.
Please don't tell me that they asked you to participate. Well, are you the next contestant? Please don't tell us you're the next contestant. Because you should have also put us up for it too.
You can't win.
Oh. I'm watching a video game.
Wow, they make video games like that? You can go inside of video games? Holy shit.
Oh my god. I'm fucking dying.
Just know that we do this because we love you, FF. Just like the 100 men.
I'm really glad all that entire section was automated, man, because I would have been all kinds of fucked just now.
We did it.
God, I miss hanging out with those friends, man. We had some crazy good times. It's not that we're like not friends anymore, it's just that everyone's got their own shit going on. Anyways, so back to the RTA adjustment. Let's user okay, so that cuts from the first frame. Look at this scrub waiting through the credits. Phooey! Phooey, I say! Okay, so there's our RTA adjustment. Okay, you might be sub 2 hour loadless. We shall see. Yeah, but there's more game after the credits in this one. On God hand, there's not more game after the credits. Yes, time to spend, like, time to focus entirely on judging Rui's run. Man. And now we're editing this down with fucking Diddy Kong Racing music going. My God, that man gets it. Make him a mod. Well, of course it's banger music. It came from Diddy Kong Racing. Speaking of, that reminds me that I really need to work on a playlist for when I'm out, like, bike riding the trails. We have some really, really pleasant trails around here, and, like, I'll end up putting on my playlist on my phone, right? But, like, my playlist for, like, normal music listening time is, like, full of rock and heavy metal and shit like that. And it really doesn't fit the comfy trail bike riding vibe. Like, let me show you an example if it's in here. It is, okay. So we're just gonna cue that up, and it'll be the next track up, right? And like, while I like the track, it just doesn't fit. Yeah, it's a classic Winamp player, and honestly, I like back when Winamp was still getting update. Well, I say that they randomly decided to start doing updates for Winamp again, and I honestly don't get it. See, I guess I'm a minimalist or something. I don't understand why a program that already does everything that the program needs to do keeps getting updates. How have I caught cheaters in this game? I have had to reject runs that were not legitimate, but the runners were not intentionally cheating. And that was back when the emulator was still allowed, and it's actually the discovery that led to emulators no longer being allowed. There was somebody that submitted a run that, if it had just been accepted as is, would have beaten the world record at the time. Now, the problem is that the emulator plays the game faster than its natural speed. So he was getting like a nice 10 to 15% cut off of the total time, just on the facet of the fact that the game was running too fast. And that actually led to the discovery that the same thing was happening in God Hand as well, which is what led me to bar the emulator from all of the PlayStation 2 games that I mod. So, I haven't had anyone, like, straight up try to cheat in this game. That's more of a God Hand thing. But yeah, I don't understand why programs that already do everything that they need to do keep getting updates. Like, many years ago, right? Winamp played MP3s, and it was offline. It was a thing that just played MP3s. I miss those days. Those were good days. But the updates kept coming, and then it went online, and then they added themes, and then they added, like, all this extra shit, and I don't understand. Like, it already played music. And it turns out that the purpose of the program was to play music. Oh no, this is real hardware for sure. Right, like, I mean, you know that the PS3 recently got an update that, like, as far as I know, only improved, like, what the OS looks like? Like, that's all it did. Like, all it did was it somewhat changed what the theme looked like. It's like, why? What are you wasting your time for? Yeah, these loads are pretty fucking rough. No, right, on phone, like, there's some times where it's just like, oh, we're pushing another update, and you're like, not a fucking thing changed. What did you update? I think that that's from, like, people trying to pretend that they're working, and then when their boss is like, but what does this update actually do? And then they make up some shit. Oh, it improves the backend, so it loads better now. But it loads at the same speed. Right, but it loads more efficiently at the same speed. Trust us. Blows my mind. But, like, for instance, okay, there's this program that I helped QA with my buddy Tofu, right? He had coded a program that makes it so that when it recognizes certain frames on screen, it automatically triggers a certain input, right? And the whole idea of that is that it's supposed to be an auto splitter for, like, console games. That was the original idea. And then, like, you put images for it to look for into the folder, and when it sees something that matches that image close enough, it triggers the input, which would split. Very, very good program. I have version, like, 1.5 still. That's the one that I still use. It's up to, like, 2.7 or something, and I don't understand. Like, I mean, I love the guy to death, and I love the it seems like the project is largely run by other people now. Like, TOEFL is still there, but it's largely run by other people. And, like, so there's a channel in the Discord for it that's exclusively for asking for help with the program, because, and I can understand why, but some people are not going to think of it as intuitively as other people. Now, I worked with it during the development process, so it's easier for me to see the program for exactly how it should be used, right? When you're being given the final product, having not gone through the process, I totally understand why you wouldn't inherently get it. But The help channel is full of like, oh, it crashed because of this, the live split integration, blah blah blah, and there wasn't live split integration at 1.5. But there's just like pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of issues that I never had with my version, because my version does exactly what the program was intended to do. It looks in the area that you tell it to look, it matches an image, and it splits. But now they've got like so many things added on that it has all these problems. It is like, why didn't you just stop when it worked and did exactly what it was supposed to do? I don't know, I haven't had any problem with Steam, but I'll tell you the thing that I hate the most about Steam is the fucking special offers window. I don't care about your special offers. Hell, I don't even use Steam to look for Steam games anymore. I use gg.deals because check this shit out, right? Check this fucking shit out, mate. Okay, so this is all the games that are on that I want right now, and this doesn't just follow Steam games, right? This follows games on the Xbox store as well. But like, look at this. This is 78% off on etel.market, and it's an EU shop. After conversion, it's basically $5.54 if you also use this. So this is the lowest this game's price has ever been. I'm not looking to buy games right now because we have a huge expense coming up. But like, this is how I track the games that I want. Why the fuck would I use Steam's own interface for this? So when their special offers come up, that shit is meaningless to me. Bruh, historical low, and it's its actual normal price. That's unfortunate. Ain't gonna buy that until it gets on sale. But like, bruh, fuck their special offers. Dumbass special offers. Useless. And all that window does is it like pops up, gets in the way, and causes me problems. Aside from that, I don't have any real problems with... Well, no, actually there is another problem that I have with Steam. Once upon a time, it would just update games in your list when your games have updates. Now, in order for that to happen, you have to set that game's updates as high priority. Their phone version... Why the fuck would you do anything on Steam with your phone? Why would you chat on Steam? Like, okay, I feel like the problem is you. Why are you doing anything on Steam with your phone and chatting on Steam? Like, these are not Steam things. Stick to what the program was made for. You mean, oh, you mean like the Steam Guard thing? Okay, yeah, I can admit I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that in order to accomplish certain tasks, I have to do the thing on my computer, and then it's like, now reach for your phone. And I'm like, fuck you, my phone is over there. Now I have to get up, you suck. Don't you know why I'm a lazy nerd person? That's why I'm on your platform to begin with. Maybe that's just Steam's version of Pokemon Go. Haha, now you have to get up and walk. Loser! I feel like they could have implemented it a different way. But what do I know? I have never had my Steam account get fucked with. But that's probably because, like, while I do have a shitload of games on it, it's mostly, like, Humble Bundle trash. Makes for interesting, variety streams, though. sometimes. Some of it, like, you know what the problem is? Like, I love a good bad game, you know, where a game is bad to the point of being fucking hilarious. But like a lot of Humble Bundle trash is just bad. Why I called myself Buzzsaw Head? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall ever doing that. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to point out what highlight it was for me to know what you're talking about. You got to understand that I've been streaming for over a decade, and some of those highlights are really, 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 really old. So I don't like remember all of them off the top of my head, except for the ones that are really fucking funny, like the one where I'm messing around with those grates. Yo, what's up, Sock? Trade stuff on the market. Dude, like, that's one thing that is, like, where she put her boobs on my head? I don't know. I may have been talking about an enemy in the game. I was playing DFO during that. How many years ago did I start using webcam? Shit, dude, I don't know. Like, I kind of went back and forth on how I presented my stream at like, various times. Like, there was a point in time where I was just about only having the game visible, right? Where, like, the game was the whole thing. I knew what you meant. But, like, after a while, I was like, well, how about we put together a layout, and, like, you see some of my early layouts and those highlights. They're bad. Other people say that they're fine. I look at them and it makes me want to gag. So, I'm gonna disagree. Those people are wrong. They're not fine. They're awful. Anyways. But, like, you know, once I started using a layout, because I never liked the idea much of, like, putting a webcam directly over the game. I kind of feel like literally every streamer that does that is a ponce. Just like a straight doof that doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But then again, there's plenty of very successful streamers that are clearly nitwits. So, what do I know? But anyway, there was some time after I started using webcam and having, you know, chat on screen and all the layout elements that I think it was probably mostly because I was not happy with what the layouts looked like in general. And I went back to just having it super simple and just having the game on screen again. And then, I don't know, sometime later I designed this layout. Now this layout is entirely me, 100% only me, nobody else helped me design this. There's not a single element on screen that isn't of my own design, aside, you know, like, I didn't create the fonts. And every bit of this layout is incredibly deliberate. It's probably one of the, like, I'm not proud of a lot of things in my life, but this layout I love. Also, it has my photography in it. So, like, I think it's like every 40 seconds this background changes, which is why the edges are always changing. The one that you see in the actual background is in black and white, and the one in foreground isn't. But, like, when a game covers this area, right, then you only see the black and white one in the background, which takes on the colors from what is within the game. But there's also this. So this is a layer that shows the exact position and size of each of the different pieces of the frame. So if I needed to really quickly throw on, like, oh no, I need to add Winamp to this for no apparent reason, but let's pretend window capture. Winamp, and then I wanted to just like throw it on under that middle frame, right? So I just 182, stretch to bounds, 318, 270. Why does it not fit? Oh, because I said 128, not 182. But yeah, boom, there, it's in there. And that took like no time at all. None. Because I have notes on all my shit. If you've ever seen like another streamer like have to adjust their layout mid-stream, like they either just like will grab their webcam with their mouse and move it around manually, which like wow, that's amateur hour shit. Or they just like it's just chaos that takes forever. I don't understand, like, I don't even take this all that seriously, so I don't understand why people that literally make money doing this have such whack-ass setups. Or, like, people that have, like, huge, I think they're called stingers, right? Where there's a big, like animated transition between scenes. So like if I wanted to go from this to say this and back, and then they'd have like a fade to an animation that's like whoosha, and then it would go to the other scene. Oh, she called me a buzzsaw head. Because I had buzzed my head. But like I think having that animated transition shit is interesting sometimes, but then there's people that have it on like every scene transition. And then they end up transitioning a lot during streams, and then you see those animations fucking over and over and over and over and over. There's a lot of, like, if we were to go into this, there's a lot of things that I can nitpick about, like, habits that other streamers have. Like, I could go and go and go and go on that topic. There is a channel in my Discord that is #layouts, and there's a few examples in there of good layouts, but it's mostly just us pointing out things that we've found that's like, oh my god, look at this tragedy. Right, Rui and I already went through a few of those, and it's fucking bad. I'd still say that most of the like really worst shit in that channel is like way back in the day, and part of that is because I now use an extension for Twitch called Unwanted Twitch, where I can like filter out things that I don't want to see. Some of the furries were hot. I don't know, man. Like, see, here's the thing. Even if I agreed with you, the layouts were still trash, because they'll put shit that block other shit all over the place. And like one of the things that just pisses me off so bad when it comes to VTubers in particular is when they'll have chat over here, right? And then they'll have their big ass fucking model over chat. So it's like, well then why is the chat even there? I literally can't read it because your big fetish given life is in the way. It's very annoying. By the way, that's one thing that like isn't common knowledge for some reason. There is a difference between an overlay and a layout. What you're looking at right here is a layout. And what defines a layout differently from an overlay is that each element in my layout has its own area. Nothing is covering another thing in any meaningful way. Whereas an overlay would have instances where the webcam is like covering, say, this corner, or chat is hanging out on top of the feed right here. You know, that's what an overlay is, which is why it's called that, is because there's things that are laid over other things. Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised how many people don't understand that intuitively, but yeah, I am not a fan of overlays in general. I like it where everything has its own place, because then nothing is covered. Especially from like a speedrun moderation point of view. There's there's this neat video about how a cheater was caught in the Celeste community. And one of the things that they didn't really realize was a problem. Like, at first they thought it was just weird. There was like an image of a bird's head in the bottom right corner of the feed, right? And at first it was just like, well, that's kind of an odd choice, but whatever. But later on, something that made it really clear that they had spliced the run had shown up, and then they realized why the bird was there. The bird's head was in that corner to cover up the fact that the game auto-saves when you've reached a checkpoint for the first time. So when they were like segmenting in future attempts, because they'd be like, they would fuck up a specific part of a stage, right? And then they would splice in another attempt. But the second time that you go through it, you don't see the autosave at those checkpoints because it's not going to do it. And if you don't see the autosave at that checkpoint, that means they've been there before. And so what they did was they put that image there to obscure the fact that it's not autosaving. So from a speedrun point of view, like, pretty much any time someone submits a run where part of the game isn't in frame, or there's part of the game that's blocked, it's not always, like, automatically a red flag, but just on, like, you know, just on the principle of it, I really prefer that people don't block literally anything with their shit. There was a point in time where I was using my splits in a transparency over the game, but part of that was because, you know, because splicing is such a thing, I thought, you know, if I have my splits over the feed, it would make it harder for me to try to pretend that one attempt was another attempt. But if you, like, pre-recorded your attempts and then overlaid a transparency over it, then it wouldn't be that hard to pass it off as that. You just would have to physically pretend you're playing the game. There's a lot of ways that people try to cheat. It's very silly. When you've spent a long time being a moderator in a speed game like God Hand, where there's so many attempts at cheating, and like it's really a good thing if you're a mod to watch YouTube videos of other people that have been caught cheating, because it gives you an idea of the kinds of things to look for, the kind of things to be mindful of. Whereas everybody else sees that as just being drama farming. But for me, I use it as a legitimate, like, educational tool. But you always gotta look at it from a perspective of, like, you know, if it seems like an odd choice, it might be an odd choice with a reason. And if it's a bad reason, you need to be aware of that. But, you know, some runners are just shitters, and that's fine. You mean, like, had a great fall, all the king's men couldn't put them back together again, Humpty Dumpty, or are we talking about a person that goes by that? You mean right here? I don't know. It's kind of like on these on off-road sections, particularly in the Great Stadium, it's kind of hard to know. Again, not really sure. It would be hard to know for a fact, but we can always compare it to the other runs and see what everybody does at that point. Use cat to... I don't know what that means. Oh, it was a speedrun cheater? I honestly, I don't think I've run across that name. Doesn't sound familiar. And the example I gave, it was like a cockatiel, or not a cockatiel. It's probably just a parrot, actually. You could find a video about that one on YouTube, though. But, like, the first thing that gave them, like, absolute proof that the runs weren't legitimate was that at one point the game displayed, like, the completion path on it, and one of the things that he had very clearly collected during the run was not marked as collected in the progress meter. So it was obvious that something was not quite right. And the only way that that could come up, you know, is if part of the run that we saw isn't part of the run earlier in the footage that he was using. Celeste. Which has a very, very, very competitive speedrun scene. I am. Yeah, for sure. The whole idea of sweaty speedrunners, though, this is quite the place to put that down, given that I trained for over a year to do hard New Game Kick Me sign runs. I can't think of anything more sweaty than that. But, like, it pays off, you know what I mean? You gotta put in that heavy effort to get shit done. Oh, you finished it? Nice. Not fake water. Ooh. Fake water. My first thought was like Dasani. Afro Fist is surprisingly difficult, hard new game kick me sign. And for those that are here that don't know what that means, God Hand has two different ways that the player character has like essentially superpowers. One is by activating the God Hand, which temporarily makes you invincible. It makes you do double damage, and it makes a decent number of your attacks faster. And it's very brief. It's kind of like a panic button in casual gameplay. And the other form that your superpower takes is a mechanic called roulettes, which basically allows you to perform Street Fighter style super moves at the cost of a roulette orb. So basically they're consumable, they're limited. But in Kick Me Sign, you're not allowed to do either of those things. You're only allowed to play the game as a straight beat 'em up. And it is remarkably hard to do that. Like how there's plenty of people out there that find it hard enough to beat God Hand on hard mode at all. I remember watching T-Man go through God Hand hard new game Kick Me Sign, and he was just trying to beat Gold and Silver at the time. And someone asked him, "Is this harder than Dark Souls?" And his response was, "Dark Souls is a game for pussies." I thought that was fucking funny. Honestly, I think the only thing that makes like the Souls games relatively difficult is mostly not even necessarily that the enemies are hard to fight. It's the aha gotcha moments. Which is not a thing I've ever really been a big fan of. You know, I don't really feel that way about Neo. Like, Neo, like, okay, compared to Dark Souls 1, right? Neo doesn't have a giant area that's just pitch black that you literally can't see shit in. Because, like, even when you've got the things that give you a light source, you really just can't see that fucking far in that area. There's not an area that's just full of lava where it's like, whoops, you stepped outside of the line for 2.5 seconds, you're just dead forever. Like, there's no goddamn bed of chaos. Granted, everyone still hates the Ocean Roars Again map because it's just made out of dumbass instant death fall moments, but for the most part, I would say that lots of Neo is at least honest combat. Whereas, like, Dark Souls has a lot more I want to be the guy bullshit. Yo, Rui, if this is your type of music, I've got a lot of shit to share with you, my friend. So you never start at the back, but you always start in the middle. I'm trying to remember what place it normally puts you in. You think you just love MGR? That's fair. But it's definitely not RNG. You start at about the same spot every time. And I say about the same spot because it depends on which race you're in. But it is consistent. For this game, let me pull up the notes right here. So, real time, 1 hour 55:17. Loadless is 1:39:11, but and it is important to note that loadless is the part that matters. Because loads are not consistent across all methods of playing this game in all regions, and even on the same console with the same disc, loads can be a bit wonky. But, you know, that's why this process that I'm doing right now exists, and that's why the speedrun moderation transparency streams exist. So I don't do these because I think they're going to be fun to watch. I know that video editing is a slog. It's a slog to do. I'm sure it's not very much more fun to watch. But I guess this gives us all a chance to hang out, so there is that. But the real reason is so that Rui here can be present while his run is being cut down for loads, so that he can be absolutely certain that my methods are being consistent and fair. Even though at no point has Rui ever questioned whether they were. But it seems to me that since video editing is involved in some people, I could see having some issues with that. It just seems like it's good form to make sure that everything looks as up and up as possible, you know? Everything has to look and feel completely honest, because it is. I do remember at one point being accused of like, oh, you know, the video editing thing is just so that he can protect his times. And like the funny thing about that is that I run my PlayStation 2 games off of a hard drive. And often the people that like I'm running against aren't. So I actually have to be like notably faster RTA in order to have a top time. So like the whole idea of cutting loads actually cuts against me. So I always thought it was hilarious when someone would accuse me of doing it for my own benefit. Like it literally makes my life harder. Have I ever played Super Metroid? I used to stream Super Metroid randos for shits and giggles a while back. But because the only way I really have to do that these days is on emulator, I no longer stream that. If I ever, like, have the money to get a Super Nintendo with the USB loader stuff, I might do that again at some point. We'll see. Yeah, I really enjoy the randos, but I'm not a Super Metroid speedrunner, so I always had the randos set to like using a logic where all of the collectibles are placed in a logic that matches the intended way to play the game, essentially. See, that's what I was always hoping for. Like, when I was doing those randos, I was specifically looking for seeds that were going to be just, like, a kick in the junk. Like, my big thing is I always thought it was most interesting when the game manages to hold off power bombs and super missiles for as long as possible. But of course, the best way that the game can hold back stuff like that is by putting normal missiles goddamned all over the place. Hold on. Yeah, okay, everything's fine. But when the game withholds bombs and power bombs for a really long time, bruh. But that's also part of what gave me the idea of wanting to have a God Hand enemy randomizer. Like, I want that so bad. Like, I cannot describe to you how badly I want a God Hand enemy rando. I want that like you would not believe. Now, see, if I was still doing it, I'd be like, give me the seed so I could run through it myself, because I'd be real curious. See, I don't think that it'll be able to go as far as that. So, like, one of the things that Roni's told me recently is that when certain enemies appear in certain places, it completely breaks the game's ability to proceed. So, like, if certain enemies show up in stage 1-1 before that gate opens, then the gate will never open. And that makes sense. That's something I was actually kind of worried about. But then you could just run through the stage. You could literally just leave right from the start. You wouldn't have to fight anything. Dude, we need to do a casual stream of Electronic Super Joy in the near future. I mean, neither one of us is really on board with the idea of just making the gate be open because, like, the whole idea that, like, in my mind for the rando is I want it to encourage competition. I want people to, like, you know, load up a seed. I want everybody in the group to have to fight the same enemies, and I want them to all be under the same circumstances. But being able to just dash through the gate right away, that's not, like, that's not competitive. That's just whack. Like, yes, you could play the normal way, but I mean, people aren't going to largely do that. The fact that it's called Broforce. Mercenary Kings, on the other hand. This is a game for old people. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I seem to be the only old man like really playing this. Like, Vlad is... I guess Vlad's not a young man, but he's, like, not quite at my age range. And then you got Rui here, who's a fucking babu. Like, I don't have an aversion to the word bro, obviously. But to, like, to call the game bro, like, the title is Broforce. Nah. Not much of a movie buff, so probably not. Inevitable Terminator reference. It's like, I mean, if you ran into a game that was like a really good third-person shooter and you're like, man, I love third-person shooters and this one's really good, everyone says it's really good, but the game is literally called Stinky Farts. I mean, who wants to tell their friends, yeah, dude, I'm playing Stinky Farts? Nah. Pass. Pass the Stinky Farts. Though if it was called The Third Turd, I might consider it. I'm better at naming games than these fuckers are. Especially because in that plot you'd have to think, what happened to the first and second turd? Whoa, look at this nerd. Hasn't even played Bro Farts. Psh, nerd. I'm such a dumbass. Why do you guys put up with me? Yo, Dust Force, I hate this game a bunch because I'm not a platformer liker in general. And like hyper platformers in general are like the apex of angst and hatred for me. But it's hard to deny Dust Force has some really chill music. Nerd! Yeah. I mean, we're all nerds here. Like what I find it hilarious when someone honestly, in actual sincerity, tries to, on Twitch, tries to make fun of somebody for being a nerd, a geek, a dork, or having no life. Sir, you also have a Twitch account. I rest my case. Like, of course, like, we all have no life here. We're on Twitch! We allowed Amazon to consume our gaming lives. It's not exactly a survival strategy. Yo, in my defense, Twitch's terms of service are trash. They don't follow their own rules unless it's convenient for them. And they don't give the slightest shit if their rules are convenient for anyone else. You know, I don't understand the concept of someone saying you have no life. Like, in what regard? Like, that's just never been an insult that's ever made sense to me. Be like, I am alive, I promise. We wouldn't be having this conversation if I wasn't. And like, if I enjoy what I'm doing with my time here, then I clearly have a life. I'm having a good time, it's fine. Oh no, I'm dead! Shit! Not again! People are dumb. Oh god, the Twitch front page. I highly recommend getting an extension called Unwanted Twitch so you can filter out all the shit you don't want to see. Because, like, Christ, who wants to see another goddamned Fortnite streamer? Shit. stuck in the hell of speedrun moderation. I like it. I have actually learned things from watching, from going through speedruns this way. And honestly, I've caught people trying to do sneaky shit because of this process. And you gotta know, because I do this process on every game that I moderate at this point, there's no way that you're gonna do some sneaky shit and not get noticed. It's not gonna happen. It can't be done. God, look at how much time just gets dropped from this track because of this. That's 2 minutes, 18.76 seconds of just waiting for the other fuckers to cross the line. Oh, people that laugh by mashing keys, yeah. That's not the worst I've seen. No, I would say, for my context, for the worst is, you know how some regions use K as W? Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that. In my context, that's the worst, when someone uses K as lol and then they put 3 of them. And then it's right, okay. Quick pause. Okay, the rest of chat, I need to explain. This person is Brazilian, and K means lol. And, because, the worst part about that is because, not everyone is going to believe it, and when the people that don't believe that explanation are going to automatically assume that I am protecting that ideology, and no. So, we can go ahead and do a little bit of an educational moment. The KKK in America is the Ku Klux Klan. They're basically white terrorists that hate all non-whites, and even a large chunk of also whites. They're white supremacists. They're violent. They're evil. They need to be airlocked into space. But unfortunately, we still have that particular cancer in our country. Just put it on par with Nazism, and you get the general idea in terms of evil. But yeah, when someone tries to laugh with K and then they put 3 Ks, and then anyone else that contextualizes that as, well, the KKK, it's problematic because, like I said, if I try to explain it, then anyone who doesn't buy the explanation potentially views me as an apologist for that ideology, and it's messy. I think in Portuguese in general, but yeah, definitely Brazil. Thankfully, I've never seen anyone do that yet, but I know that it's a thing that sometimes happens. In Portugal, it's another way. I've decided that I'm not even going to respond to that question anymore. That's literally the first thing he says every time he pops into chat, and it is definitely past the point of being annoying. It's like that Way of Heaven dude that, like, every time he popped in, he said some shit about Angra's Revenge. And he eventually got banned, so... Learn from the mistakes of others. Hint, hint. I miss not being harassed about a video game. Right, but every time you come here, you do that. I mean, if you want to argue about it, we can just go ahead and get it done, you know. Who needs a warning when you could just cause problems, right? Yeah, what the hell were we talking about? Oh yeah, laughs. So in Angola, what is the LOL and okay, in Angola, that is not easy to say. Is that even how you say that? I could be wrong. I'm almost certainly wrong. Well then, but how do you know it's different then? I refuse your argument. Because if you don't know what it is, then you cannot say with any definitive confidence that it's different. What about, you said that in Portugal it's another way. Do you know what it is in Portugal? I was about to say, somebody go kidnap a Portuguese and ask him. Or her, or them. I mean, I'm not discriminatory, it just has to be a Portuguese person. Is that already kind of... No. Anyway... Go for it. Yeah. I mean, if you watch my run, I don't pit for a really long time in that run. I'm trying to remember, like, okay, so in the Global Grand Prix, I think that I typically don't pit until Western Canyon? I don't quite remember now that I'm trying to think about it. I know that if I was, like, actually doing the GP right now, I would know. But yeah, nothing in the first GP is, like, complicated enough to warrant pitting. And even that depends on like how accustomed you are to handling Western Canyon with thrashed tires. Get wrecked! It is K's. What about Angola? I mean, like, it's been quite a while since I've tested how it all turns out, you know? So right here, you ought to be mashing buttons, because like once it does this shit, and then once it like zooms in, and once it finishes turning the camera here and just starts pulling out, right there, because like up to this point, it's turning, and then it stops turning, and it starts pulling out straight. Right here is when you can actually skip this scene. So you ought to just be mashing buttons. 5s? Bruh. I'm starting to get hungry. Did you? Man, I'm bad at remembering shit. I'm pretty sure that the credits are skipped with the select button when, like, if you ever dabble in all races. Yeah, this looks a bit sloppy. Ah, menu fuckery. That's the best. You have to have a life tomorrow? Man. Alright, Ash, have a good one. Sleep well. Yeah, shopping, honestly, there was a point in time when I wanted to do new runs of this, but I felt intimidated to not do that because I didn't want to have to try to memorize the menus again. Like, what a wiener of a reason, right? Man, the fucking tune-up warning. Now, what is this that you said about, like, not being able to switch parts when the car is dirty? Because I'm still confused by that. I know that when you, like, when you go through, like, the desert stage and whatnot, your vehicle gets dirty, right? And then, New Jungle, it also gets dirty, but, like, see, here's the thing, is that whenever you go through courses that have water in them, it also, like, just cleans your vehicle. Just as a natural state of affairs, because you're going through water. That's my partner struggling to breathe, by the way. Say hi, Bev! I see. Couldn't find one for Angola? Well, son of a shit. Turns out Angola doesn't have internet. Yeah, she'll be fine. It's mostly just that, like, a recent bout of, allergen changes in the area that we live in just put us over its fucking knee, man. Every chance to run away, yeah, run away from this. You gave yourself every chance to drop me out now, run away, yeah. Anyone curious in Stabilizer, by the way, their music is totally free. I don't know if there's a download link for their albums anymore, but their music is totally free. Turning that shit up. And I'm forgetting what I'm doing. I am offended that Winamp has yet to play my favorite track. Offended! Hold on, I'm gonna fix that shit. One letter off, throw him to the lions. lions love to spell check. We'll let the lions judge whether it's minor. They judge with their teeth! Wow. Welcome to the kind of insane thought processes that happen while I'm video editing, because there's fuck all else my brain is allowed to do right now. Yep. Man, you should have seen the process that I was going through counting frames on every single attack in God Hand. I debunked a theory that has been a prevalent thing in all of God Hand for fucking years and years and years and years and years. And, on top of that, I got all of the frames for all of the different attacks, and it's just, it was such a fucking headache. But now I gotta do the process again for while you're using the God Hand, how fast are all of the attacks, and then I have to somewhat do the process again on the Japanese version to make sure that all of the attacks are the same speed, and some of them I know aren't. So, that'll be fun. It's not gonna be fun. Oh, I cut the loads in everybody's runs, including my own. But, like, I'm also running on a method that has shorter loads. So if I cut my loads, that's only, like, 6 minutes of loads, right? And then I cut your loads, and it's, like, 16 minutes of loads. That means that in RTA, I have to beat you by over 10 minutes. Or I'm actually behind. It is, in fact, the only fair way to do this, but I don't know. People like to whine when they don't get their way. Oh no, yeah, I don't upload the loadless times individually, like unless somebody specifically asks me to. But if you go into the any of the comparison VODs, then the loads are removed from everything. With the exception of one video where I was pointing out that somebody had literally fast-forwarded chunks of their run. I mean, yeah, if you want me to upload one of your runs loadless, I'm down. I don't give a shit. That's fine. But I mean, I'm already going to do a comparison for this one because it's close enough at this point that it makes sense to get a comparison. So in the comparison VODs, it's always the loadless version. It's kind of jarring when you're used to a game having, like, large, chunky loads to suddenly, like watch it as though none of those loads existed. It's really something. Yeah, after I'm done cutting this down, I'm absolutely 100% stepping away and getting something to eat. At that point, I will maybe go ahead and work on the comparison right away. Because I'm kind of curious myself where the problem is. Oh yeah, it's a completely different world. It's so much tighter and more smooth. Like, it's... There is one downside to it, though. It's technically harder because, like, okay. So on the US version, it calculates damage to your chassis on every frame. And on the Japanese version, it only calculates damage every, I don't know, 8 frames or so. There's like an amount of time in between hits that it'll actually count against your chassis. And that sounds like it would make it much easier. But it doesn't, because on the US version, individual ticks against your chassis are actually very, very small amounts. And on the Japanese version, it's actually a pretty chunky amount. In other words, in the US version, it's a lot easier to keep your chassis nice and durable. On the Japanese version, one solid fuck-up of getting smashed around by other vehicles, you're pretty much guaranteed to already be in the mid-yellow. It's kind of hard to tell. I would say in all likelihood the PAL version is closer to the US version, but at like the 25 frames per second thing might also affect how it handles stuff, so I don't know. Thankfully my computer monitor here can handle playing it properly at you know, in that resolution and frame rate, so I'll be testing that out. I need to dump it to my hard drive. I haven't done that yet. Of course! I don't play video games and not stream. What the hell? Oh, that's not true. I do grindy shit in video games that nobody would want to watch while I'm listening to the news. It's the European release of the game. So like the US version would be NTSC-U. The Japanese version would be NTSC-J. But the European region and several other regions, it like honestly if you look at a map of this shit, it's actually kind of infuriating. But it's predominantly considered the European region format, at least from that era. PAL, P-A-L in all caps. No, not POW. I don't remember what it stands for, though. I'm sure if I brought up the Wikipedia, I would have to avoid the information that infuriates me, but I'm pretty sure I could figure out what it stands for. No, it's a video format. It's not food. You can't eat it. And if you could, it wouldn't taste very good. So it's definitely not bread. Yo, that was a fucking good dive, dude. That was so good. I would say that pit was definitely not necessary. But that was a fucking killer dive. Nah, that one wasn't. You know, yeah, it's real hard to nail that particular dive because when you drop down and then your car wants to bounce instead of allowing you to turn properly. It's like right here, you go off of this and your car doesn't want to just land and let you do what you want to do, and plus the where the collision is right here doesn't quite line up with what you can see. So yeah, it's a difficult thing to do. I love how we're on a map where going underwater for a decent portion of the race is a thing, and now we've got the underwater track from Banjo-Kazooie. Or, well, one of the underwater tracks. Yeah, I'm curious to see that snow and ice, because if you straight got first place in it, that's wild. Say, I love this editing process once you get out of the licenses, because, like, man, once you get out of the licenses, this shit flies. That's right, the shit flies. Feces, in the air, moving at high rates of speed. Deal with it. You know what, I think I might make eggs. Eggs sounds really fucking nice. Good. You got in there, that's nice, that's nice. No, I like my eggs scrambled. Nice. You got in there twice. That's good, that's good. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Whoa, you bonked. If you hadn't bonked, that was a really good angle. Good enough, good enough. It still saves time. Like, you can slow down so much to make sure that you get in there and still save time. And funny enough, one of the emulator runners, Snowpop, was the person I learned about this shortcut from. I didn't know it was there. Yeah, it is, dude. When you see the red sign, you notice to start letting off of the acceleration and start, like, pulsing your brakes so you can make sure to get in there. But it's not like, it's not a speed adjustment that you want to try to do all at once when you're next to the turn, because it doesn't work that way. Whenever I hear this track, I feel like this is Electronic Super Joy, but it's not. I still lean on the indicator a little bit for the first lap just to make sure. When I'm not on stream, what kind of music do I listen to? I tend to like heavy metal a lot. But I listen to a little bit of everything. I like mashups. I like a lot of music from other countries. Like, speaking of, Rui, are you familiar with The Hoosiers? I quite like Goodbye, Mr. A. Wow, you suck so bad. Get this fake Brit out of my chat. He doesn't even skip this cutscene. Hi. I don't know how many people in Europe actually know anything about the Hoosiers, but like they are from that part of the world, and I do quite love their music. Their music I would kind of describe as being a sort of like modern 80s. They have a very 80s vibe, but like it doesn't feel old. See, I would love to just pull up some musical examples and be like, I like to listen to this shit. But even if you like play shit for like half a second on YouTube, it'll be like, ah, copyright strikes. Grr. I'm not about that life. I don't want to deal with the shit. I would, however, say that, like, contrary to all the things I just said, my favorite musical instrument is the violin. So, like, Lindsey Sterling, string player, gamer, love that shit, love that shit. Heh. There was a point in time that I just put my entire playlist into Winamp, right? And I would just let it play all the time on stream. And then for a while, at any time that I got, like, a copyright match indicator, I would just dump those songs specifically out of the playlist and leave everything else alone. And so, what I figured is that eventually, right, I would cut it down to only tracks that the system didn't have a problem with. But then the whole shit about, like, everyone starting to get, like, cease and desist orders and whatnot, I was like, yeah, okay, I should probably stop doing that. Is there a music in God Hand I don't like? Probably Ion's theme, AAA battery. I don't really care for that shit. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of the, some of the different tracks that they have in the prototype as well, but, you know, those got changed out for a reason, right? The true run. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Whoa, yeah, that was a nice smooth turn. That was a very good tunnel. Solid first lap. A little scrape out of the tunnel, but it was otherwise pretty good, pretty good. That goddamn trash truck. Pretty normal on the third lap to have some tunnel trouble. Those turns are pretty fucking wild, TBH. Honestly, those turns are so wild that I'm real surprised that the high grip tires even hold up at this speed. I just turn, tap the brakes, and go to get into the pit. But you also have to understand that the earlier you pit, the more fucked up your vehicle will be by the end of the race. Let's see, hold on. So you're Asian City Long. 40630. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I just now watched your race and I did not see anything particularly wrong with it. So I don't know how you're losing 30 seconds. It's got to be a version difference. I can't wait to actually play the version and see like how it handles. It's gotta be something like this. 30 seconds is a lot of fucking seconds, man. If it had been like, oh, you lost 4 seconds, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe the lines could have been a little bit tighter. But like 30's a lot of fucking seconds. Also, I take suggestions for games to, for like game soundtracks to incorporate into the stream. So if anyone can think of any games with like banger OSTs, feel free to recommend that shit. I mean, not necessarily, like all of the differences have to come into play in order to determine whether or not it's overall easier. Scott Pilgrim, the video game. Alright, I'll give it a look. You know what, there's a track in here that I fucking love that we need to hear. Alright, so yeah, that's a pretty typical start. Getting to the front of the pack at the end of the first lap is not normal. Like, that tunnel, like, in that tunnel you should have, like, gotten a better position for sure, but getting all the way in the first I don't think is normal, so that's interesting. Yeah, you're, like, really, really ahead of them. This is extremely weird. I mean, but you also don't pit. I think I usually do pit here, so I probably won't actually anymore. Because it seems like, you know, you're doing just fine. So 417.52. Hello? Bruh, I completely fell off the course too. I don't know. Bike. Oh, I thought it was that vehicle. Well, getting first in that race certainly takes the pressure off, though. I believe you. What should you do? When you say girlfriend, do you mean a girl that you have a romantic connection with, or a friend that is a girl? I mean, honestly, you should prioritize your IRL friends and you know, the people that are actually in your life over streams online. Thanks for hanging around, though. That was good of you. But yeah, definitely go spend time with the people that you have real life connections with when you get the chance, you know what I mean? Oh, it's some other time. Oh, well, then yeah, especially then, for sure. What do you mean, what should you do? You should get over there and hit that! There's no reason to say anything after that. Should leave it at that. Picking the card game? That gonna help you hit that? I'm dumb. Oh. There we go. I will admit that I'm kind of rushing a little bit at this point because fuck, I'm hungry. I woke up and had like the tiniest snack, and then it was like, okay, let's go live and get this run pumped out. Because every time, like, okay, I check speedrun.com like 11 times a day. Pretty much any time that I pull up my browser, I'm like, okay, well, let's take a quick glimpse at speedrun.com and see if there's any notifications. So it's like, you know, I go through it. I go through it a lot. I double check it a lot. So every time that I bring it up now, it's like one run pending, and it's like, I know, I get it. Well, we certainly hope this won't be the last PB you ever submit, but who knows? Maybe you're just gonna like suddenly suck real bad and not be able to race worth a damn, and like. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe suddenly you'll lose your hands, or they'll turn into fish. And then you won't be able to use the sticks right because they'll be fish. The curse of fish hands. Now I kind of want fish, but I'm going to make eggs. I have resigned myself to egg makery. Now if it does turn out that the PAL version is just noticeably easier, then I want you to remember that run where you had to restart the Western Canyon long like 20 times, and then go back to when you said that you didn't understand how I do it in one try. I'm gonna say through hopes and dreams. Damn. Don't be mean to the doggo. That's rude. Next to last round. I really appreciate how fucking easy this race is. Like, I see why it's in the final GP, because it's super long. But, like, it's also very easy. Yeah, I mean, like, Dream Park sucks, but at least it's easy. It's very free. You hadn't, but I mean, honestly, it makes sense. I mean, realistically, in a more broad sense, we're all constantly studying any and all language that we use. That's a lot of years. I really wanted to enjoy To the Moon, but the RPG Maker stuff, it doesn't really hold me. Yeah, because of the way that the funnel time is done, in my splits, you will actually see that I have the time that I completed the race in my splits, so that I know if I was ahead or behind. Which is, funny enough, an idea that I got from Vlad. Told him that that was a very smart thing to do, and then I was going to start doing it. It's kind of a pain in the ass to update that every time that you get a PB, but it's definitely helpful to let you know whether or not the last race you did was worth a shit. Which days do I stream? It's sort of just whenever it happens. I don't have a schedule, and if I did, I would be very bad at keeping up with it. But I mean, so my partner works as a Mercedes tech, and she has this schedule that goes from like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And when she's home, I don't typically stream unless we're playing the same game together. Because I'd rather spend time with her. Otherwise, it's like when I have something like this, where I have a task that I really should get done, and then I do it, and then I go offline. Yeah, it's Monday. So yeah, like there's going to be some weeks where I'm more likely to be streaming Monday through Thursday, and some weeks where I'm more likely to be streaming Wednesday through Saturday. But no day is guaranteed. I'm live when I'm live. Sometimes I have the time and sometimes I don't. That is a ridiculously solid first lap. Yeah, that's definitely when I would pit as well. I usually come out of that pit with at least one racer getting ahead of me. Sometimes two. There you go. You come off... Like, this right here is something that I've been meaning to point out to you as well, is that, like, right here, if you're on the right, there's, like, a farther drop down than on the left. So you really want to make that transition on the left so there's not any, like, wobbliness to how you land. Wobbliness. Yeah, a scientific term, wobbliness. Yep, that happened. I feel like it's pretty normal to pick twice here. Like, it's possible to get through with only one and do just fine, but it's not particularly likely. All right. And our final time is... Yep, 1:59:24:07. So, let's put this in the spreadsheet. So we've got that's 29 minutes 26 seconds .86 of load times. It's actually a little bit higher load times than your previous run. It's very, very interesting. Anyways, so yeah. Okay, so we've got these right here. So we've got 2:28:51 and 1:59:24. Turn off automatically verify so that it looks right when I do. this? Anyways, so I've got nothing else going on Speedrun.com. There's probably not a lot going on here. Nobody that I would... Oh, wait, what? 79 viewers of this? Sure. Anybody playing God Hand? Oh man, Rinses. He is probably still stuck in the Death Shutter. What a shame. Anyways, but yeah, that's the end of my stream. I'm fucking hungry. I'm so hungry.